Hey folks, welcome back to the Ferrum College Football Coaches Show. I'm Gary Holden. With me, of course, head coach Cleive Adams. Cleive, how you doing?
Doing well. Just excited for the spring semester and getting our guys back and just ready to go.
Can't believe it's already January and we're talking about football right now.
I know it. It's exciting right now for us.
First order of business, I think, is to tell the fans that we've changed the name of the Coaches Show here. We've been using football first and 10. We decided to change that. I'm going to go ahead and let you introduce the name of the show.
Well, we just decided from a branding standpoint and the things that we hang our hat on around here is to go with the 40 West Football Show. I've talked about being back here on 40 West ever since I arrived back in 2020, just to identify with who we are back here at Ferrum and just embrace it and not apologize about it. And I think it's something that's catching on.
Sure. I love the name of it and everything. I saw you guys got a lot of nice graphics with it and everything. A nice 40 West sign with the light on it and everything. So from now on, going forward, we are the 40 West Football Show. All right, great. Well, Coach, let's move right into let's back up and go into last semester. Some of the things we had a lot of things go on since we last had you on the show, and let's back up first to the all-conference team. That was announced after our last show and everything. You had a couple first-team guys: Billy Higgins, linebacker; Tamade Penn, wide receiver. Those were pretty much locks. I think everyone expected that, right?
Yeah, I don't think that was anything to debate about. Both of those guys were standout players that were impactful for our team back in the 21 season. Did a phenomenal job. Billy representing us from a defensive perspective, just an outstanding instinctive inside linebacker that's hard to replace. And then obviously Tamade being out there at wide receiver. And I believe after maybe game one, he was double teamed the rest of the season. So we had to find interesting ways to get him the football, and he still found a way to get his touches. So I don't think that was anything that was debated at all in the league.
Good. Well, I kind of felt that the way going into the voting, I kind of felt like that might happen right there.
That's right.
You had a couple of second-team guys: quarterback Titus Jones, offensive lineman Daniel Mitchell, and your DB Jakari Williams. That was his second time making the all-conference.
Sure. And we were hoping that both Titus and Jakari were going to crack into the first team as they voted in by the league, but unfortunately they were not. Titus had an unbelievable year in his first full season as the starter here at Triggerman here for Ferrum, and we were excited about his stats going into it and thought we had a chance to get him in there as a first teamer. And then obviously Jakari was always just a cornerstone in our secondary last year, and the last 2 years really, because no one really threw the ball at him, and I think that hurt his stats a little bit. And had we won one or two games going down the stretch, I think both of those guys would have been a lock at first team. And then Daniel, just anchoring the offensive line as a senior coming back, I think he was well respected, and we were excited about getting those guys named, but we really thought we were going to have 4 at first team.
Sure. It's funny how you mentioned about what teams do to kind of stop your guys and everything. And we've seen that before in the past where wide receivers or tight ends that were really, really good were stopped because people just keyed on them. And the same with defensive backs. They might have 3 interceptions in the first couple games of the year, and then all of a sudden the ball never gets thrown to their side of the field, and they don't get the interceptions and everything, but they still get recognized by the conference because everyone knows the only reason the guy didn't have those numbers was because we couldn't throw the ball to the side. We weren't going to take a chance at having him pick,
Absolutely.
Especially worst case scenario, pick 6.
No question. And Jakari was one of those type of guys, and we even saw it happen several times during the game where the quarterback would look out there, they were scanned to see where he was at, and then they would go the other way. I mean, it was very evident when we looked at the film or live, real time game day. We saw it happen over and over again.
Sure, and you can't fault an opponent for doing that. You got to play smart and everything.
That's right.
So we also had a couple guys that made third team this year. Ray Alexander, defensive lineman. You had a wide receiver, Daniel Lamb. So 2 guys for wide receiver made all conference. And then you had a tight end, Devin Gray. Any of those surprises for you?
I think Devin Gray was a little bit of a surprise in terms of just cracking into the third team, being recognized. But again, he's a long, rangy tight end that can flex out and do some things. He's very he allows for a lot of multiplicity for us in our system where we can have him off the line of scrimmage, connected to the box. He can be an inline tight end, and then he can flex out into the slot and really give our opponents a lot of trouble out there because he can run and he can catch the ball. So it doesn't surprised me terribly, but it's refreshing that he was recognized for what he brought to the table. And he actually came on more and more toward the end of the season, started to really make some plays, and I think that's maybe what put him in the minds of our league in terms of the voting. And then obviously Daniel Lamb was another one that I felt like as a player really came into his own coming into this year. He knew he had talent and had to work through some things in terms of the game of football, but we were very, very pleased with him. He wasn't even a starter to begin the season, and he became a mainstay on our offense moving forward. So I was super excited for him. And then Ray Alexander, been in the league, was a fifth year. Was hoping that he was going to come in a little bit higher, but also still appreciative that he was recognized because he was a guy that could come off the edge and was just an unbelievable executor out there. Coming in as the new head coach in 20 and talking about all the guys, and he was one of the guys that didn't really know about coming into the 2020 season and 21 season. And when I got my hands on him, I just saw a transformation, and I was just I've been so proud of him and just very excited that he was recognized by the league.
Well, those guys that come in on the third team all-conference, it's almost as though they forced opponents to pay attention to them.
That's right.
You cannot overlook that guy because he's going to make a play, and both, Lamb and Gray on the offensive side, and Ray was, Alexander was he was a force.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if you didn't pay attention to him, you were going to all of a sudden have him laying on top of your quarterback.
No question about it. And again, one thing that probably hurts a little bit defensive line-wise, we cycled a lot of guys through and played a lot of the guys, and there's some systems where a guy may play 85% of the snaps on a Saturday afternoon. My philosophy is to cycle those guys through, and it probably took away a few opportunities for him to get a little bit more in terms of the stats and sacks and TFLs and things that might have boosted him up in terms of being recognized in the all-conference balloting.
Sure. Well, let's talk a little bit about Ray. Ray, later on, he was invited to participate in the All-Star Bowl down in Florida, Miami, I think it was. So he got a dose of warm weather down there.
That's right.
And then something good came out of that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, he was super excited, and we were excited for him to have that opportunity to go and put his talents on display with some of the better talent on the East Coast. And he went down and had an unbelievable experience, and then was exposed to some scouts that were there, professional scouts from all levels, and ended up landing an opportunity to go out to Oregon and play in an indoor league, and I think he's going to embrace that. He was signed, and I think it's going to be a neat experience for old Ray coming from Victoria, Virginia. So just happy for him that his football career has put him in a position to go out in the world and experience some things, and it couldn't happen to a better guy.
I'm real excited for him. My wife was real excited. My wife is from Portland, Oregon. So when she heard he was going out to Oregon, she's like, oh, yeah, that place is way out in the middle of nowhere. He'll have a wake-up experience. But, probably isn't too much smaller than Ferrum, Virginia and everything. So I think it's going to be a great experience for him. And we're looking forward to seeing what you do, Ray.
That's right.
So let's talk again about another player, individual that had an opportunity to play in something you had. Christian Caldwell played in the D3 Senior Classic. This year it was held up in New York. It's normally held somewhere else.
Well, I again, it's another young man, a senior that we were very excited for. Christian was a guy that when I came here as the head coach, he was coming into his own as a player. Had to set out, I think, the year before because he had transferred in and just stayed the course. And I think my first year, he was on the field and participating as a role player, and it wasn't a situation that he was very pleased with, and he just kept working. Had an unbelievable summer coming into the 21 fall season, and was a guy that we just relied on last year in a lot of different situations. And punt return guy for us, was just on time as our punt return specialist last year, was just fearless back there, and got to the point toward the end of the season that he and I were on the same page of music. And if I gave him a Peter call, which meant to fair catch the ball, and I missed it, he would look at me and I would look at him, and we would just giggle and laugh because he understood what he was doing. And then having the opportunity to go up there and play, and he had an unbelievable experience, and I'm just super proud of him for actually just being bold enough to go up there and take that on.
Yeah, it's got to be a great thing for him. I mean, that's something he'll always look back and never regret having played in
That's
that game
right.
and everything. So,
That's right.
One more individual. You had Drew Hill made the Academic All-District team again this year.
Yes.
Didn't make Academic All-America, but he made the Academic All-District first team, which put him on the ballot for Academic All-America. So he had a shot
That's right.
at it and everything. And I understand he's taking the semester off. Tell me what he's doing this semester.
Drew is probably one of our one of the best leaders on this football team. And again, I go back to when I arrived April of 2020 and dissecting and evaluating the roster and looking at guys and trying to project them moving forward. And he was a guy that I didn't really know about, and he just blossomed into an unbelievable player. Went home between the 21, I guess it would be the summer of 21, and just put on almost 15 pounds of muscle. Had a pretty solid season in the winter, spring season of 21, the COVID season, but came back and basically was the leader of our defense, the quarterback of our defense, called all of the front changes and checks and coverages, and his leadership ability just basically blossomed on our football team. Guys looked at him to know how to act. Guys were banking on Drew getting us lined up. Off the field, he was just incredible. Always in the office with Coach McCray, our defensive coordinator. They would have an appointment on Friday night before a Saturday game, and the two of them are just in there just watching reel of film and making sure that they're on the same page of music in terms of adjustment. So I think our Uncle Sam and the Marine Corps, he's taking a semester off to take on his basic training for the Marine Corps. He will be back in the fall to finish his last season of eligibility, which we're blessed about that because he could have very well just walked away. But he loves Black Hat football so much, and he loves being part of this, that he was going to get his basic taken care of and then come back and lead the charge and finish strong. We're looking forward to having him back and the leadership that he brings to the table for our football team. You can't put any type of you can't. I don't know what I'm saying. I guess you just can't put a value on what he is and what he brings to it. I'm at a loss of words here.
I would think that the U.S. Marine Corps is going to put a value on that.
Yeah.
They're going to realize what type of leadership they have in him, and I suspect we're going to see him do some great things.
100%. He's already talking to his father, riding back home. He's already kind of positioned himself to be one of the leaders in the squad or the troop. I'm not sure how you define it, but he has already walked his way up the ladder in terms of his superiors recognizing his leadership ability, and he's making an impact there already.
I guess I'm not really surprised there. You probably aren't either.
Not at all.
Yeah. Well, Coach, let's talk a little bit about shift gears and talk a little bit about the recruiting process. I know last semester you guys had a little bit of a different style. At the end of the season, you guys went on the road for a couple days, and you came home, had an admin day.
That's right.
And then you had families on campus on Fridays and Saturdays. It looked like you guys just had truckloads of kids in here.
Yeah, we've had a successful run, and my recruiting coordinator, Rasan Ellis, has done an incredible job, basically just keeping the coaching staff accountable. Recognizing what we're looking for in terms of the footprint, where we're going, and who we're going after. And we did something different, and it basically was a product of the COVID year where we had to flip the traditional recruiting season around because in the 2020, fall of 2020, we did not play, so we had to do all of our recruiting in the fall of the year, when normally you're playing. And then we had to put it on the shelf and try to finish the deal in the spring of the year, and then we were in the COVID season. Well, what came of that is I recognized the value of getting a jump start in that you could, in fact, at this level, get out there early in the fall of the year and make an impact on your recruiting class. And we talked about it after the fall of 2020, going into 21, that we were going to try to flip the dynamic and front load our visits and our efforts early on in the 21-22. So basically what we did was, like you said, we hit the road and we were back, and we had 6 visit opportunities before Christmas break. And traditionally as head coach, I've only had 1 in the last 5 or 6 years. So we had 6 opportunities for families and recruits to come on campus before Christmas. And then after Christmas and after New Year, we had another additional 8 opportunities. And this coming weekend is our last of 14. This will be 15. I guess it would be 13 and 14 Friday and Saturday of this week. And we should come in around, From that beginning before Christmas, we should be in around 200, 220 prospective student athletes and families on our campus in that window of time. So, and that's going to set the table in terms of the net of talent that we're out there bringing in, and then within that net, we're going to identify the like-minded young men and families that fit what we're looking for here at Ferrum. So we're excited about what we're doing. We also brought in 12 newcomers from first semester to second semester, which is the best I've ever had as a head football coach. I think I've only had, the max has been 8 newcomers coming from the fall to spring semester. So these are guys that are newcomers to our program to help build depth and in some places. And we were very fortunate to have that happen. I guess I have to correct myself. It was 11 newcomers and 1 readmit. I've got a young man back on my football team that walked away that I was really concerned about when he left, so I'm tickled to death that he's back because he's going to be an impact player. So we really made a push between the end of 2021 going into 22, and we're excited about how we're going to wrap up this class moving forward.
Well, whenever you bring people in mid-year, that's obviously a shot in the arm and everything. It takes up for the kids that graduate in the fall and everything.
That's right.
And it keeps people busy, keeps the admissions office busy. I'm sure it's going to keep our compliance people busy here as well.
100%.
On those guys and everything. So, but that's a good work right there. We love that. So. Well, let's talk a little bit about the schedule for next year. You've got a couple of changes in there that we really haven't seen over the years. Of course, Emory and Henry is gone now. They're fully in Division II. We won't be playing them this coming year, but you do have a couple teams coming in that are going to replace that game. Tell me a little bit about those.
Well, we open up next year, this coming up season, Team 68. We open up with UVA Wise on a Thursday night, 7 o'clock, down in Wise, Virginia. That was a game that we picked up when the Averett program came into the league, and I lost the consistency of my opening season because they used to be game 1, and we were going to keep it that way moving forward. So when they came in, it basically put me in a tailspin in terms of how we were going to put our schedule together. So we were able to pick up UVA Wise. We're excited about that opportunity. They're a D2 program down in Southwest Virginia. Guys are excited about that. I don't think we played a Thursday night football game here before, and I'm just super excited about that opportunity. Then we return home second week of September with our home opener against Muskegum out of Ohio. If my memory serves me right, I don't think we've played Muskegum here at Ferrum, and that'll be an exciting opportunity to play a team out of the Midwest. And it's always good brand of football up there, and those guys are coming down, and we'll open the season here in Adams Stadium with Muskegum, and then we go into a bye week after that. Opportunity to clean some things up and get our act together because the week 4 we will open up league play in the Old Dominion Conference with Shenandoah University, and we'll be traveling to Winchester, Virginia for the league opener up there, and we're excited about that opportunity. And then from that point moving forward, I guess we're looking at Shenandoah, and I think we have Hampton-Sydney after that, back here at home.
Yep, and then W&L follows them, and that's your homecoming game this
year. Yes, W&L's homecoming, I think October 15th, if I'm not mistaken. That's Coach Norton's birthday, so we're going to celebrate that with a win. We're going to claim that right now here, and we're looking to make sure we recognize Coach's birthday moving forward around here. Call it a black hat holiday around here, so we're going to. 15th. Okay. That's right. And
day before my birthday.
Okay, so we'll get some cake for you, and we also celebrate Coach. But excited about that day for sure. Homecoming back here on Route 40 is always awesome, so we're looking forward to that. And I think after that we have Guilford maybe on the road.
Go on the road with Guilford.
Yeah, going down to Greensboro, and then we come back with Bridgewater College here on campus, and then we have Randolph-Macon on the road, and then we finish up with Averett University here at home. Maybe a night game. I know my history down there. I didn't mind playing at night down there, and I don't think Coach Henry will either. It's late in the season, but traditionally that's what both of us like to do, so hopefully we can at least between the two of us, have some night games here in this Old Dominion Conference moving forward.
Maybe we'll have some good weather for that. That'll probably be, what, the second Saturday or third Saturday of November, and it'll probably be a little bit chilly, but you never know.
Football weather.
We might get a little warm spell through there. So
football weather.
Talk a little bit about Averett joining the league. This is their first year. They're no newcomer to us, and clearly you coached there for 6 years and everything. But talk about how does it change the dynamic with them now coming into the Old Dominion Athletic Conference for their first full year of competition.
Well, I think it's huge for them, and it's huge for the league because, again, what happens is we bring in another team that's in the Commonwealth of Virginia. In terms of travel for everyone in the league, it keeps the travel down. In terms of scheduling, it only requires you to have 2 non-conference games moving forward rather than 3, and that's huge in terms of keeping down the travel and the logistics of trying to find and put together a schedule year in and year out and finding consistency in that. I think the level of competition that they're going to bring to the league, they're a program and institution very similar to us, and I think it's going to bring a different type of athlete to the league year in and week out. So I'm excited about it, and I think for us, in terms of 2 institutions being in close proximity, maybe it's going to allow us to create a new Old Dominion Conference rivalry moving forward, because I believe there'll be Week 11, Game 10 moving forward for us, and I think we can maybe put some kind of game together, some kind of significance moving forward for the winner of that game. So I'm super excited about that.
Kind of like what we did with Emory and Henry.
100%.
The Crooked Road Cup and everything. Maybe we somehow maybe not use that term and everything, but we something else here in the Commonwealth.
It could be something 220-58. The two corridors merge at some point, and it's only an hour, 20 minutes apart, and you can throw a rock to Danville, Virginia, and we chew the same ground in terms of recruiting, and it will be a cool deal moving forward.
Yep. And we compete against them in pretty much everything. Men's basketball,
women's
basketball, both soccer, volleyball. We just lost our assistant volleyball coach is going down there to take the Averett position. So we have a lot of crossover and a lot in common with them. So. Well, Cleive, hey, I wanted to have you clarify something real quickly. You mentioned a few minutes ago when we started talking about the schedule, Team 68. Tell our fans exactly what you're referring to with the Team 68. I know, but I think it'd be great for the fans to go ahead and hear what you're saying.
Well, since when I became head coach, and every head coach has his little branding and things that he identifies himself with, and when I went down to Danville, Virginia, one thing I wanted to do is make sure that we identified our team by number, where that team lied in terms of the beginning of the program to where we are currently. And when I came back here, I think we talked about it. It's like, all right, what team number are we in? I think I came back with team number 66. So you're talking about the 66th year of football and the program. So I've been head coach here for Team 66, Team 67, and now going on Team 68 in terms of how many years of football that we had. And I always mention it to my teams every year. We speak that language every single day because I want them to understand, one, where you are in the grand scheme of things in terms of the tradition of the program here at Fairmont. There is a deep, rich and steep football tradition here, and making sure that we understand our responsibility to obviously the current football team, but also the men who came before us. And then our responsibility is to set the tone for those who come after. So we always keep that in front of us. That's a big deal, and that will be something that I will always coin our teams, just so we understand where we stand in the grand scheme of things in terms of our history.
That's great. It reminds me of one of your alums, Horace Green, who I think maybe helped coin that term about, remember who was there before, you're playing for the people that are going to come after you and everything. So I'm not sure the exact phrase he uses, but he uses something like that and everything. He was part of the 68 National Championship.
Play for those who came before us and set the standard for those who come after.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great. Yep, Horace Green. So, all right, Coach, so that'll do it for today. Next show, February, March, we'll come back and do another show?
Yeah, I would like to do one as soon as possible. I've got a lot of exciting things going on here. I mentioned the newcomers that we brought into our program. We've really brought in some significant depth and some guys in some positions that we feel like they're going to be impactful players moving forward. And we've got all season, we got spring ball coming up. We're excited about that. The NCAA's approved equipment at our level for the first time.
Yep.
Obviously, it's limited, but it's going to give us an opportunity to do some things we've never been able to do, and have an opportunity to not only look at the original Team 67 guys, which we have a wealth of guys who have a ton of talent, and then also some of the newcomers that are part of 68 moving forward. We got a new quarterback coming in here that is a fine player. We've got several receivers. We got a few DBs, outside linebacker, offensive linemen that's coming in here that we put a whole lot of work in, and that's a testament to not only Coach Ellis, who is my recruiting coordinator, but also my entire coaching staff and the admissions financial aid office and everyone, the administration here at Ferrum, because when you're able to bring in newcomers between the fall and the spring semester, there's a lot of things that have to happen the right way because officers are not open during the holidays. Getting transcripts and all that type of stuff that you have to do to make that a reality is a huge team effort. And I just have to take my hat off to my staff and also the administration here at Ferrum, because without that team effort, we couldn't have got it done.
That's great. Yeah, well, excited to see what kind of players you got bringing in here for next year.
I think we'd be excited about it.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you so much for being on the show. Folks, thanks again for being with us. Again, this is the 40 West Football Show now, and we will see you again in February or March. Thanks. Have a great day.